Brakta Yahweh, Brakta Yahushai, Brakta Yahweh, Brakta Yahushai, Brakta Yahweh, Brakta Yahushai, Kol Loyum La Alahinawa Yahweh Bahashem Yahushai Bahashem Rukah Kodash. Double honors to our elders and apostles, great millstone who do teach and rule well, and through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bahashem Yahushai told us this 100% truth. Peace, love, and salutations to the house of David, the hopeful elect. You Akim out there pushing his word in truth and sincerity. To those of you likened unto the speckled bird scattered to the four corners, speaking in different tongues, unto you we say Shalom. This is the book of Matthew, chapter 24, starting at verse 1. And Yahushua went out and departed from the temple, and his disciples came to him for to shew him the buildings of the temple. And Yahushua said unto them, See ye not all these things? Verily I say unto you, there shall not be left here one stone upon another that shall not be thrown down. And as they sat upon the Mount of Olives, the disciples came unto him privately, saying, Tell us, when shall these things be? And what shall be the sign of thy coming, and of the end of the world? And Yahushua answered and said unto them, Take heed that no man deceive you, for many shall come in my name, saying, I am Hamashiach, and shall deceive many. And ye shall hear of wars, and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. Verse 7, For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines, and pestilences, and earthquakes in divers places. All these are the beginning of sorrows. All right. Just the other day, I did a lesson entitled The Nations Are Ready for War. All right. And this is kind of going to be a part 2. All right. I'm going to start with this article, which was a few days ago. All right. From the Daily Mail. And it reads, 2 senior Hamas intelligence chiefs are killed as Israeli tanks line up on Gaza border, and Netanyahu warns militants will pay a very heavy price for 130 rockets fired at Tel Aviv. 36 Palestinians are dead, including 10 children and 5 Israelis. All right, so, as many of you know, all right, being watchmen and, just keeping a careful, eye on prophecy, all hell has been breaking loose over there in what Esau calls the so-called Middle East, all right, which, of course, all right, we know that is not a place, all right, that is not an actual location, okay, those are just directions, if you will, okay, but nonetheless, all right, all hell has been breaking loose, man. All right. You have the second president of Egypt, if I recall correctly, before he passed, he said that there wouldn't be peace in the so-called Middle East because the Jews left black and came back white. All right. Basically asked about the so-called Arab conflict, and why things have, been happening the way that they have been happening for quite some time now. All right, but as we see, things have escalated, as I may mention previously. All right, we have seen, specifically, on the Gaza border before, from this self-proclaimed, nation of Israel. Okay. We have seen them, go at it, be at odds and, attack one another. All right. But as we're going to get into, it's not, it hasn't been as drastic, if you will, as it is now. All right. So we're just going to get a few key points. All right. Because I have a few of these articles. All right. And this is also tying into Iran as well. All right. Because Hamas has been receiving support from Iran, okay? And we know that the U.S. is basically, at the table with Iran to get that nuclear deal, back in order. All right, to basically, get those sanctions lifted. All right, and then you have, senators here, that are basically telling Joe Biden, to not help Iran because of all of this that's happening over there in Gaza, all right, with these particular, as they will call them, rebels, or however you want to call them, all right, with these, particular individuals who have been receiving support from Iran. Okay, so again, it's all full circle. All right, you even have, Trump was basically complaining, that Biden is a weak president, because this wasn't going on when Trump was in office, because they knew that Trump would rain down hell on Gaza if they attacked this so-called nation of Israel. Okay, so kind of like a little backstory for you. Okay, we're going to get into it. Israel unleashed a barrage on Gaza in the early hours of Wednesday. They said was the biggest since 2014. 2 Hamas intelligence chiefs were killed and 3 military commanders had their homes destroyed. Israel's military responded after over 130 rockets were fired into their territory from Gaza. In the city of Lod, the mayor said civil war had already broken out with Orthodox Jews and Arab Israelis rioting. All right, and there was a video I saw yesterday, a different article from the Daily Mail. Basically, they took a man, out of his car and basically beat him to a pulp, man. The doctor said he had to go to surgery because his face was unrecognizable and that he was having trouble breathing. All right, so this is how bad they're getting. All right, and not only that, it has actually turned to lynchings. All right. Benjamin Netanyahu, the prime minister, visited Lowell in the early hours of Wednesday in the United States. Joe Biden is being kept updated. Nancy Pelosi appealed for calm. Donald Trump issued a statement blaming Biden for the unrest, accusing him of being weak. Tensions throughout Ramadan exploded into a riot on Temple Mount on Monday that left hundreds injured. Okay, so that's the gist of that. All right, they also, let me get this. What is this? Yes, here we go. All right, so Israel actually denied a ceasefire. Okay, so Hamas was willing to go on a ceasefire, but Israel said no. So they want to continue, ravaging the land, if you will. They want to continue having that blood on their hands. All right, we already know, all right, what scripture says, all right, about, Esau not being satisfied with blood, man. Okay. The Israel Defense Forces said that they had killed 2 senior Hamas intelligence chiefs, tweeting, "Looks like our intel was better." Okay, basically making a mockery, scoffing, being prideful as Esau is. All right, but, basically this was a few days ago. All right, so Israel, the UN decided, hey, let's do a ceasefire. Let's handle this in an appropriate measure, if you will. All right, and Israel said no. Okay, and there was another. The U.S. rejected something else. All right, related to Israel. U.S. rejects UN. Hold on, is this it? Yep, here we go. So Biden protects Netanyahu's massacre and apartheid. The U.S. blocks UN's resolution while Israel rejects Hamas's truce offer. So again, this is from Veterans Today. All right, originally written in Italian. All right, and basically, going into how, the UN basically came up with that resolution for the ceasefire. All right, and the U.S., all right, and Israel both blocked it. All right, just when you look into these UN resolutions, there's different ways that each country is given certain power. All right, specifically, all right, the Great Whore. Okay, so boom, that was a few days ago. All right, this is the second one I want to get. Yes. Okay. So continuing on, Israel neutralizes 11 Hamas terrorists as death toll in Gaza fighting passes 70, including 16 children. Palestinians at least 130 more missiles, and Netanyahu threatens blows they have not dreamed of. Okay. So Palestinian militants have stockpiled enough missiles to continue bombing Israel for the next 2 months. Boris Johnson led international leaders in calling for the two sides to step back from the brink on Wednesday. Please for calm. Oh, please. Okay, not like please. Please for calm appeared in vain as Israeli and Palestinian leaders traded threats and further rocket strikes. The most intense hostilities in 7 years have killed at least 67 people in Gaza, including 16 children and 7 in Israel, including a soldier and 1 Indian national since Monday. Okay. Israel on Thursday pressed ahead with a fierce military offensive in the Gaza Strip, killing as many as 11 senior Hamas military figures and toppling a pair of high-rise towers housing Hamas facilities in a series of airstrikes. But the Islamic militant group showed no signs of backing down and fired hundreds of rockets at Israeli cities. And of course, why would they back down? Okay, Iran, all right, has been supporting, all right, Hamas. All right. Let's see. This was another article that I wanted to get. I actually have it up right here. Let's just get it now. More than 40 senators, this from Newsweek, more than 40 senators write to Biden demanding end to Iran nuclear talks over Hamas funding. All right. So they have been funding them. They have been providing them with arms. All right. They have been doing various things. Even the U.S. Navy. All right. They just seized huge weapons cache in the Arabian Sea, and they said that it was from Iran. Okay, so you have this by way of not only money, all right, but also weapons as well. All right, smuggling basically. Okay. Over the past couple of days, Palestinian terrorists in Gaza who are funded by Iran have launched a series of rocket attacks into Israel. They are targeting Israeli civilians in cities, including Israel's capital, Jerusalem. This is troubling as members of your administration are currently in Vienna negotiating with Iran, the world's leading state sponsor of terrorism. Well, first off, let's start off with this, right? Okay, so they say Palestinian terrorists. All right, those rats, all right, in Israel, all right, they have committed worse terror, all right, than those Palestinians, all right? Not only that, all right, you, the great whore, all right, America, all right, along with Israel, is the leading state sponsor of terrorism, okay? So here you see more examples, all right, of how Esau, being crafty and, just being the wicked and the devil that the Bible speaks of, that mischief upon his bed and just, he can't go to sleep lest he cause something to fall. I mean, you can just clearly see, all right, how crafty, they continue to be, man. Nobody cares, about those children that are dying in Gaza, all right? But of course, everybody cares about Israeli civilian rats, okay? So again, it shows, again, this is another indicator, and it shows who's in control, Great Babylon and, them blocking UN resolution. All right. Senators also, making mention to stop these talks, making, the merchants rich. All right. Which really Iran already received plenty of money the first go around, so this time around it's just going to, be kind of like the first time. Ultimately, they get more money again. All right, they're working things out to get, some players, back in motion, if that makes sense. All right. So real quick, here's another one. Iran's hand is seen in Hamas' drone threat against Israel. Why do drone threats matter? Because drones can carry warheads and also move slowly and may maneuver. All right, so, again, a drone can carry warheads and also move slow. You see how they push for the scare tactic. All right. Which nonetheless, we know, all right, that, drones do have certain capabilities. All right. But again, as it makes mention here, they move very slowly. All right. With, Esau's technology, all right, these nations are able to see them, and ultimately may maneuver. If you have a slow moving, craft, you don't have to worry about maneuvering. You can easily lock onto the target. All right. But again, this is where these FJs reside. All right. These rats, so they push that fear, Israel has increasingly had to deal with drone threats by Hamas. Israel said on Thursday that it had downed a UAV that crossed from the Gaza Strip into Israeli territory. The UAV was monitored by the aerial control units from the moment of crossing to its interception. The new drone threat has also been showcased by Hamas in a video circulated online that shows the Palestinian terror group with several medium-sized drones in the Gaza Strip. Hamas says its new drones are called Shahab. All right, so again, all right, they're just continuing the fear, that propaganda machine. All right, because drones, you could easily intercept them. They're not as fast or as tactical, all right, as other technology, all right, that these nations are able to utilize. Okay, I'm not gonna play this, all right, but they're basically showing off the suicide drone. All right, but nonetheless, just one more. All right, in closing, all right, because hey, these nations are ready, man. They are ready. All right, Netanyahu warns against lynchings as clashes between Arabs and Jews rock Israeli cities. All right, and if you to the book of Isaiah, the 2nd chapter, all right, basically talking about how there will be peace in the land. All right, the nations will come, and flock to this land, that's how these rats, all right, these FJs, all right, are not the true people. Okay, and this is, also, all right, an indicator, all right, that Christians do not know nor do they read the Bible. Okay, because they say the Old Testament doesn't matter, but yet there are prophecies in the Old Testament that have not yet occurred. Okay, and the establishing of peace, as it makes mention in Isaiah the 2nd chapter, is a clear indicator that there is no peace over there. All right, there hasn't been. All right, we see these particular situations. We see these particular situations, happen, and they have happened, over, the past. I mean, really, if you want to be honest, since 1948. Ultimately, if you want to be honest, this back and forth, these clashes, all right, but specifically, in the 2000s, it has, increased, and really that's by way of technology, technology increasing, weapons, getting out there more, and again, that's really because of the Great Whore. America ships out weapons, like giving candy at a candy store. All right, so let's just get this last one. All right, in closing, as the Israeli military and Palestinian militants in Gaza exchange deadly airstrikes and rocket bombardments, rioting and violent clashes have also swept through several Israeli cities between Arab and Jewish citizens. In Bat Yam, south of Haifa, graphic video Wednesday night showed a Jewish right-wing mob trying to lynch an Arab driver. Police say the man was dragged from his car before the assault began. Video shows about 20 people hitting him with metal objects and kicking him in the head repeatedly. He was taken to a hospital where his injuries were described by police as moderate. And see, that's a lie, because matter of fact, I didn't know this article was going to go into that, but there was another, it was a video. It was an actual video of the doctor himself in the hospital. And the doctor himself in the hospital said that his face was unrecognizable and that he had issues breathing, and he was being taken to the operating room immediately. All right, so that's a lie, and again, it shows how they cover it up. All right, them rats. All right, that whole area. All right, along with the rest of you goddamn devils are gonna be destroyed, man. All right. In Acre, north of Haifa, a lynching attempt by an Arab mob left a Jewish man critically wounded, according to Israeli police. That's beautiful. That is beautiful. All right. A police spokesman said the mob attacked police officers with stones before attacking the victim with stones and iron bars. Beautiful. I am locked in my house. It's happening in front of my house and there's no way to go out. The tear gas is filling the houses and the situation is insecure. There has been attacks on Arab citizens in different cities today. I'm really, really worried about the city, blah, blah, blah. Nobody really cares. All right. But again, all hell is breaking loose over there, man. All right. And ultimately, them rats are over there doing exactly what they've been doing. All right. Lynching, snagging people out of the cars and beating them up in broad daylight, or at nighttime. All right. So they're as we often like to say, their horns are showing, once again. All right. So, yeah, man, that's it in closing. All right. This is, again, something to keep an eye on. All right. Because you have those Iran talks, as I mentioned, with the U.S., you have senators calling to stop the talks because of what's going on, all right, in the Gaza Strip. And then because of these events between the Israelis and the Palestinians in the Gaza Strip, you now have Arab-Jewish civil war going out within particular Israeli cities. So, man, it's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing to see, all right? And, apparently this hasn't been this worse since 2014. All right. But, through the spirit, this is going to escalate even more. OK, because really, with everything that has been transpiring regarding prophecy. All right. The past 2, 3, 4 years. All right. And that, that steady increase. All right. You can clearly see through the spirit. All right, that this Adawan Ratazah will become even more deadlier. All right, and even though these goddamn Israelis probably might get the upper hand of it, just because they have the support of the Great Whore, they might get that now. All right, but in the near future, later on down the line, they're gonna pay. They're gonna pay a beautiful hefty price. All right. And Adawan Ratazah, we endure to see and partake in that day. All right. So, keep an eye on this, man. The nations are ready for war, man. They are ready. OK. And this is just, 3 nations, if you will. This goes back to the U.S., Iran, and these goddamn rats, man. We haven't even discussed how Iran is tied into Russia and China. All right. China has been prepared for war for like the past 5 years now. OK, so, hey, it's a lot going on, man. So Adawan Ratazah was edifying. And in closing, I'm going to give all praise and honor and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rachak Kodash. Double honors to our elders and apostles of Great Millstone who do teach and rule well. And through the spirit and power, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, taught us this 100% truth. Peace, love, and salutations to the house of David, the hopeful elect. You Hakim out there pushing word in truth and sincerity. To those of you likened unto the speckled bird scattered to the 4 corners, speaking in different tongues unto you. And until next time, we say shalom.